Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here once again talking about one of my favorite sectors in the stock market, and that is quantum computing, and more specifically, our favorite quantum computing stock, D-Wave Quantum, ticker symbol being QBTS. And we have seen a lot of momentum in this stock this week. So we have jumped by about 45%. And this was because of the positive earnings that we just saw announced yesterday from D-Wave. So we're going to get to that in a second. But when we just look at the technical analysis in this stock, we can see that overall we are building in an upwards bullish trend. So I have these two lines drawn out, and this is just to show the rising support and the rising resistance growing in D-Wave Quantum and a lot of the quantum computing sector in general. So if you look at a lot of the other quantum computing stocks, they have some similar charts here. But with QBTS, recently we just called this out. We were at this level of support. And so this was just a couple days ago. We actually talked about this on the channel. You could see here, will we see a quantum squeeze with earnings? And well, it did bounce off that support, and it looks like that is exactly what has happened. And so right now, QBTS is looking a little overextended on the RSI. We do still have a little more opportunity to run on the MACD, with looking overextended on the RSI and then getting closer to that higher level of resistance, I do foresee a drop coming in QBTS. So I think what we could see from here is a little bit more of a jump to that new 52-week high, the top of that level of resistance. But then I do think we will see a sell-off and a retraction back down, as when we do look at the history of the chart, the last two times we touched this higher level of resistance, we did see some drop-off. So we saw both in January and then in March, we saw these big retractions. And so I do think that this will happen again, but this doesn't mean that I am bearish on quantum. I am quite the opposite. I am actually super bullish on quantum and on D-Wave Quantum. I think quantum computing is going to have a lot of real world case in our lives for the future and the years to come. And I think that this sector is a growing sector overall. And we could see that when we look at the earnings report, which we're about to get to in a second. But overall, I took this opportunity to take profits because, again, when we just look at the trend in this stock, it does look like this is a profit taking opportunity. And so the reason why I mention this is because back in the day when I first started with the stock market about 10 years ago, I would see massive jumps in some of the stocks or plays that I was in, and then I would hesitate to take profits because I would think, well, I am not bearish on this stock. If I sell, that is bearish. But I think if you look at it from a swing trading opportunity, you could actually be very bullish in a stock and make a lot of profits along the way. Because again, just looking at the technical analysis, to me, this screams that this is an opportunity to take profit. And then going back to what made this stock pop so much, again, was their positive earnings right here. And so yesterday, they announced that they hit a significant financial milestone with a quarter revenue of 15 million. And so going into this, we anticipated that they were going to have a revenue of 10 million. That was talked about at their last earnings report, but nope, they crushed that. They made 5 million more. So they had 15 million in the quarter. And this is huge because when we look at their earnings history, we could see that this is their biggest quarter ever. So up to this point, they have never had a quarter above 3 million. And so for them to hit 15 million, that is a crazy multiplication, and that is just a crazy rise in this stock. So this stock is gaining a lot of value and momentum, and QBTS in general has started to pick up a lot of customers. So with their last quarter, their bookings went up by 500%. And again, we could see that in their revenue, they are growing there. But the reason also why I think that this stock will drop some is because that is the bullish case. And myself, again, I want to reiterate, I am super bullish on D-Wave Quantum, but Wall Street still needs a little bit more convincing. So we do see, despite their big revenue, they did still have a net loss for the first quarter of fiscal 2025, and that was at 5.4 million and a negative 2 cents per share. So D-Wave Quantum still not profitable. And so Wall Street just wants to see D-Wave Quantum continue to become more profitable. And that is why in my short-term technical analysis, I do believe that we will see a bit of a drop-off in D-Wave, but I believe that this is a blessing for investors, as this is just an opportunity to pick up your D-Wave at a lower price. So I'm very excited if there is a bit of a downtick in QBTS, and I will be definitely joining back in again more heavy as we get closer to this rising level of support. And also, when we look at the volume chart in QBTS, we could see that most recently we have had a significant jump in the volume, which makes me think that we do need to come back down a little bit. A lot of the times when we do see massive jumps in volume, of course, the share price will increase significantly, but then this volume will drop off as a lot of traders are just jumping in for a short and quick profit. And so I just wanted to come on here really quick and give everybody that quick update on D-Wave. Again, I am staying bullish, but when we do return to the upwards bullish trend, we could see that we have had some cool off periods. And I do believe shortly we will come back down to that cool off period. Again, I'm not saying that we can't reach a 52-week high. I still personally do hold a bit of QBTS. I have just thinned my position down by about 90%. So I still have opportunity to participate in the run-up if a run-up does continue, but I have just made sure that if there is a cool-off and a drop in QBTS that I am not going to be hurt, basically just leveraging down my position and again taking some profits. But I am staying very bullish on QBTS and all of Quantum for the years to come. But I would be curious to hear what everyone else's opinion is, and if you think Quantum is going to continue to rise from here, or if you think that I am correct, that there will be a little bit of a cool off in the weeks to come. So please drop a comment in the section below on what you think. Please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you guys all so much, and I'll see you in the next video.